It's the weekend and you have financial questions that need answering. That can only mean one thing. It's time for Jill on Money, the show that takes the mystery out of your finances. Here's your host, Jill Schlesinger.
Welcome, welcome. It is the Jill on Money show. This is the program that attempts to take the mystery out of your financial life. And you know how we do that? It's very easy. We encourage you to head to our website, jillonmoney.com. And while you're there, you can just see in the top right-hand corner, there's a Contact Us button. When you click it, you can fill out the form. We'll get that email. And if you are shy and you really don't want to come on the air live with us, that's fine, but give us a lot of detail. So when we get to that email, we have all the information we need. Otherwise, check the box that says you'd come on the air live with us, and Mark will do everything else. Now, also brand new on the website, you should check out our new service. It's called Jill on Money Live. And by subscribing to this service for just $35 a year, you will have access to quarterly live webinars and more special content. Our first one's coming up very shortly, the end of this month with Ed Slott. So check it out. Okay, right now, let's get to one of your calls. It's Myra from Connecticut. Hello, Myra. How are you? How can we help you out today?
Hi, Jill and Mark. I've been pondering one question. So I'm going to get laid off before the end of March. I will get a large severance payment, and I just wanted to see, just to decrease taxes on it, because I plan on getting a job, like within a couple of months. Mm-hmm. If I should contribute to my 401k, like the traditional one, so I could lower my income, or should I just continue to do the Roth 401k?
Interesting. Wait a minute. I want to go back a second. So you've already been notified that you'll be getting laid off at the end of the first quarter, at the end of March, right?
Correct. Yes.
And how much do you earn right now?
$165.
Okay. Are you single? Are you partnered? Are you married?
Yes, I'm single. I do have a son. He's 7. And I also have my parents living with me.
Oh, my God. You got a house full. The multi-generational Myra.
Yes.
So for last year, on your $165,000, did you make a retirement plan contribution?
Yes. And last year was my first year that I did the full, the Roth 401k.
And you maxed it out?
I maxed it out, yeah.
Wow. So you've got a 7-year-old, you got your parents. How old are your parents?
So my dad is 75 and my mom is 67.
And you all live in the same house. And who owns the house? Do you own the house, or do they own? You own the house?
I own it, yeah.
How much is that house worth?
I want to say like between $350,000 and $400,000. I only have like $80,000 of a mortgage outstanding on it.
Wow. Wait, what's the interest rate on the mortgage?
Oh, it's really low. It's like 2.25.
Are you making extra payments on that?
No, I stopped. I started hearing your podcast like a year and a half ago, and I just stopped making extra payments.
Oh, good. Excellent. Okay, wait, I want to do a few more factoids. How old are you?
I am 43.
So your parents live with you in this house that's almost paid off. You make $165,000 before this layoff. How much money do you have set aside? So let's go into a couple of categories. So how much is in the Roth 401k right now?
The Roth 401k only has $30,000 right now.
Because you just did it last year, basically, right?
I did a little bit the year before.
All right, so what about the traditional?
The traditional is $870,000.
Whoo, baby. Any other retirement assets, an IRA somewhere else or anything? Yeah,
yes.
What do you got?
I got 2 Roth IRAs, and they have a combined $17,000. And I do have a brokerage account.
How much is in the brokerage account?
Like around $50,000.
Do you consider that your emergency reserve, or do you have an extra savings or checking or money market account?
So the safe money, which I call it emergency / new house fund, because I was looking to buy a new, bigger house. Mm-hmm. So I have $171,000 in that fund. $100,000 of it is in treasuries and $20,000 is in I bonds. So it's very liquid. So part of that $171,000.
That's great. All right. So let's talk. What is the large severance check that you're due to receive?
It's around $140,000.
Whoa.
Yeah.
All taxable, right?
Yes. Yes.
Hence your worry about like,
Yeah.
hello, I am in a high tax bracket. So when you claim head of household, is that right?
Correct. Yep.
Okay. You sound so sure that you will be able to get another job. Are you really super duper duper sure?
Well, I've been really stressed about it, but I kind of talk to myself not to. But I could get a job easily. It's just probably I won't get it in the same salary. I probably would have to get a pay cut.
All right. Well, wait a minute. Let's do this for a second. Let's say, what do you think that pay cut would be?
15K lower.
All right. Wait. Let's say even lower. Could you, if you made, let's say, 125,000, could you live on that? Can you afford that? Tell us about your cash flow. Like, what's happening?
My monthly expenses, and to be honest with you, I don't really keep track of my expenses. In all honesty, I should.
Fair enough. I got you. Don't worry. No judgment, girl. No judgment.
Yeah. So, but including everything, like even like for vacations, excluding any savings. So it's around 6 to 7K a month.
All right. So, well, that's not terrible. I mean, you could basically, if you had to, in other words, look, I'm just a little bit concerned, not about anything you've told me, because you're 43 years old. You've already saved a boatload of money. All right. So you're in great shape. We're going to talk about the kid in a second. I mean, I think there's a part of me that feels like I just want to make sure that we don't overestimate what you can do because, maybe the economy is going to be a little bit shakier. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to go too crazy. That's, I guess, what I'm saying to you. You're saving a lot of money, but like if you had to, you could basically break even, pay your bills on, let's say, about 125 grand. I'm just doing that sort of a back of the envelope, like your taxes at the federal level, your taxes at the state level. I'm just like lopping off a big chunk. But that should be that's pretty comfortable for you. Okay. At 125, you'll do it. You won't save, but it'll be okay. So right now, do you have, besides the mortgage, any other debt that's outstanding?
No, like I pay off credit cards every month. Every time I buy a car, I buy it in cash. So no, nothing.
Great. And what about saving for the 7-year-old? Are you trying to save for college or you're not really focused on that?
I am, but that's where I think I probably need to do more focus on. Right now I have 7K in his 529 and then 10K in an I bond that I bought for him.
Right. All right. So are you using the Connecticut Higher Education Trust, the CHET plan?
Yes.
Okay. So let's say that if you were to end up in a high tax bracket for this year, this 1 year, because I get what you're saying, that, you would have, even if you just made 125 plus you have the first quarter earning at 165, would you really need to kind of put some more money aside for taxes? I think the answer is yes, because I'm just looking here at the head of household claiming range. It looks to me like you're going to be in the top bracket of 32%, which is 170,000 to 215. Do you file with the standard deduction right now?
Yeah.
Okay. So that knocks off 20 grand. I'm sort of thinking that maybe you should do a pre-tax for this year. We'll get back to Myra in a moment. This is the Jill on Money Show.
Back to Jill on Money, where Jill Schlesinger helps you take the mystery out of your finances.
You're back. It's Jill on Money. We are here trying to help you navigate the next best financial decision for you and maybe your family. If you have a question, if you've got a concern, something bubbling up, you should just go to our website. It's jillonmoney.com, and there's a Contact Us button. And you'll see a whole bunch of stuff on the website. There are 2 podcasts, my blog. You'll see videos. There are resources. We also have our new subscription service. And of course, you can purchase my book. It's called The Great Money Reset. And I'm very excited about that book because many of you inspired the book. The conversations that I was having with listeners like you inspired me to write this book. And that's why I'm so grateful for you guys. Not only do I love what I do, but you guys are an amazing community that helps me think about new ideas to share with everyone else. So thanks for that. Okay, right now, let's get back to Myra from Connecticut. Right now for this year, you're choosing the Roth and you're maxing out, right?
Yes.
Okay. So I want to flip it back to a pre-tax for this year, and this year only, by the way. And I want you to try to max it out before you leave, if possible. I don't know if you're really going to be able to do it, but I want to pull a lot of money out. Would they pull your 401k out of your severance or not? Do you know?
I think they would, because it's paid through the payroll. So I would think it would.
I would just double check with that. If not, I don't know. Like you have cash right now, so you could make it work. It's just that it would make your cash flow really kind of crappy, right? If you were to max out if $20,000 came out over the next 2 months, you clearly would have to dip into your savings and then replenish it when the severance came. So if you can manage that in your head, if that feels okay to you, then I would do it. The severance comes. Let's presume it was the second case that we have to replenish your savings, right? So let's say that, you needed $25,000, $30,000 out of your safe money. So you get your $140,000. Are they going to pull the taxes out all at once? I hope they do.
They do. Yeah.
Okay, good. So let's say there's 100 and you got to replenish your savings for 30. So now you have an extra 70 grand. In your mind, that extra 70 grand, what do you think you want to do with it?
I'm thinking of put maybe 10K in the 529, and then the other, just because I've been meaning to buy a bigger house.
You've been meaning? Like, I've been busy on this project. I would have. Okay, wait a second. I want to just talk about the house thing.
Yeah.
Because I feel like if you buy a bigger house, then your expenses are going to go up.
Yeah.
Okay, so my hope would be that we see what happens next before you pull the trigger on a new house. And what I mean by that is maybe you're going to surprise yourself. Maybe you will get a job for $160,000. Maybe you'll be psyched. Maybe it'll be $180,000. I don't know. But I think you should absolutely not buy a new house until you are secure in your next job. Okay. And the reason is your expenses are really low right now on the house itself. It might be small. It might be tight with the parents and the kid, but it's that juicy low 2.25% mortgage rate, which is going to be really tough for you to swallow, because if your house is worth, say, $350,000 or $400,000 right now, what would you want to buy? What kind of house and how much would it cost for you to get into a house that you would want? So new house dream. Give me the amount.
That's my problem right now. So right now where I'm at, I could probably see myself buying a house that's worth probably like $750, $750. And that, and like you said, I am scared of that, because that does bring more expenses.
I'm going to say this right now. No, you're not going to buy a new house. Do you hate me for that? What can we do to your house right now to make it more livable?
The problem is, to be honest, I love this little house. I love it. Mm-hmm. And I'll cry if I sell it. But the problem is, it's more like, it's not really in a good neighborhood. So but I only care more for my son. Like, I want to get him to like a nice neighborhood so he can have more friends. Mm-hmm. Basically that's it. For my son, he can have play dates over.
Okay. Here's what I'm going to tell you. He's going to have to suck it up for a year. And that's very easy for me to say, because I'm not a parent. But here's why. What's most important to me is that we secure your financial life right now. You're in this big, huge transition. Huge. Okay. And until we know where you land, taking on another transition of a larger home with a larger mortgage, and like signing up for that puts all of you at risk. And so what I would be very careful about is, I know that in your heart, that is what you want. I know that intellectually it's going to be better for your kid in the long run, but can we make this decision in a year or 18 months? A couple of things will happen between now and then. One is, we'll know what your job is. Two, we'll have a better sense of what the real housing market looks like. Because I got to tell you something, if you get a $500,000 mortgage, it's not going to be at 2.25%. Okay. And it's going to be at like right now, let's say it's at 6%, or even in a year, let's say it's at 5%, even 4.5%. That's a big payment change for you. And if you have a job where you had to sort of suck it up and we go into a much deeper recession that anyone anticipates, and you just say, you know what, I'm going to take a job. I don't care. You're going to be happy you had these low expenses. And if you can wait a year, 18 months, we're going to have a lot more information. And I will invite you to come back. I promise. But for you, in that extra 70 grand that you have that's built up, what I would say is the 10 grand in the 529 plan, and you can add the other 60. You can add, you're going to, because remember what I'm saying to you is whatever it is to like keep that safe money, new house fund. If you can keep that at, let's call it 170, 200, whatever, let's call it 200. The rest of the money you can sort of set aside until you see what happens. I mean, you might have, for all I know, you'll have, if you had $250,000 saved up and everything goes great for you, then yeah, maybe we can look at the house. But I wouldn't do that right now. I really wouldn't, because I feel like, you're in a better neighborhood and then you lose your job and then you lose your house and then you're back in the neighborhood you don't want to be in.
Yeah, no, thank you.
You're not going to lose your house. But
No.
I didn't mean to scare the crap out of you. I really don't. But you get what I'm saying, right?
Yes, and that has been my fear always on that, buying a larger house with a bigger mortgage. That's always been my fear.
But you know what? You really might be able to do it. I just don't know where you land on the other side of this job is going to help give us a lot of guidance. And we don't have that yet. So if you can keep, if you can sort of be like, I can be okay, then I think you're going to be well served by that. I really do. Can you live with it?
Yes, I think I can. I can. Yes.
That's great. I think I can. You are the little engine that could. Okay. Question for you. Do you have your estate documents done?
Yes, I have a will, I have the guardianship, I have term life insurance. So I think, I got a 30-year individual one for $750K.
Yep.
When my son was born.
Yeah.
So it's 7 years in. Like, should I replenish it again? Like, no.
You're in good shape. You're good. You're absolutely, I wouldn't do a thing with it. Truly. You'll be in good shape. And, listen, I think if you can show a little bit of patience right now, this is being smart and opportunistic, really. Otherwise, I don't want to see you get into a funky situation where you're like, oh, how'd I get here? We can avoid this. We can really, really avoid this. So if you're cool with that, then I'm going to invite Mark. She goes right to the head of the queue when in a year from now, when she comes back on, she goes, it's Myra. I'm making $225. I want my new house. Let's make it happen. If you are lucky enough to have a severance, well, give us a holler. And if you're freaking out a little bit about what to do, if you're worried about your job, if you've just been laid off, give us a holler. All you need to do is go to JillOnMoney.com. That's our website. Click the Contact Us button. Let us know if you'd be willing to come on the air. Also, if you are really worried about layoffs or you're a little concerned about your particular company or industry, I encourage you to check out the blog section of the website, because I did write a great piece called The Layoff Protection Plan. So you should check that out right there on the JillOnMoney.com website. Okay, we will be right back.
401ks, IRAs, refinancing, she covers it all. Back to Jill on Money with Jill Schlesinger.
You're back. It's Jill on Money. This is the program that tries to help you make better financial decisions, not the best, the right ones for you, for your family. If you'd like to get in touch with us, just go to our website. It's JillOnMoney.com, and there you click the Contact Us button. You complete the form. Let us know if you would like to come on the air. If not, we'll be happy to answer your email. While you're on the website, don't forget you can sign up for our free weekly newsletter. Comes out every single Friday. It's a perfect warm-up for this program. Right now, let's go talk to Ira, who's on the line from New Jersey.
Well, I handle Mom's finances. Mom is 87. Dad died almost 3 years ago. Mom is in an assisted living facility, which, as you probably know in this area, is fairly expensive, runs about $10,000 a month. So Mom's got about $400,000. Good deal of that came from the proceeds of the house sale. And I've moved that today mostly into money market funds and CDs. The CDs are paying about 4.5 right now, and a little bit into a couple of I bonds. She also has Dad's inherited IRA for about $83,000. Now, Dad had 2/3 of that in stock funds. I'm wondering if we should, at this point, just totally get out of the stock funds and park that also in CDs or money market funds. Now, for the next 30 months, I would say about half of the long-term care bill is taken care of between a small long-term care policy that she's got and her Social Security. So between those two, she gets about $5,700 a month.
What did you say in 30 months? Why is it limited to 30 months? Is that when the long-term care is gone?
There's $100,000 left on the long-term care policy, so that's roughly, and they cap it at $3,300 a month, so that's roughly 30 months.
Okay. How's Mom's health, by the way?
Mom's health is okay.
Okay.
Not terrible.
How old did you say she was?
87.
So let me just review. 10 grand a month. What is there anything besides the 10 grand a month? I don't know. I had to pay for extra stuff like medications and boo.
I mean, a little bit. Yeah, sure. We pay her Medicare supplement. She likes to go to the hairdresser at least once a month. The unfortunate cable bill is about $200 a month. At that facility, you have to arrange for your own cable TV and internet. So yeah, she has, let's round it up between the Medicare supplement and everything else to say her other expenses are $1,000 a month.
Okay. So 11 grand a month is the total. And for right now, for at least the next 2.5 years, half of that is paid for through the long-term care and Social Security. And so where are you taking the other half? Are you taking that from the money market account? Like, what are you doing for the other, 50 grand a year?
Well, I take enough from Dad's IRA to meet the minimum withdrawal requirement. And then I take the rest from, the money market account.
If you look at Mom's tax liability right now, I had a call like this just yesterday. We were talking about someone's aunt. Do we know what her total income is? For example, I mean, I know the long-term care benefit is not taxable income to her, just the Social Security, plus I presume any interest or dividends that she might receive, plus the IRA. But do you know what her total income was last year in 2022?
Virtually no taxable income.
Like 40, 30, 40, because we do have $2,400 a month for Social Security, right?
Right.
And some income, right?
Yeah, off the top of my head, I'll say 40.
Okay. So you're doing the minimum required distribution. What is that? What is the RMD for Dad's account? What has it been every year, usually?
I want to say it's 7,000 or 8,000.
All right. So even if we just bumped it up to 10 or 12, I would bump it up a little bit. I'd like to, let's get some of that money out of there. She's in a low tax bracket. You use the rest of the money in the money market to come up with the difference, right?
Okay. But I guess the question is, what should I do with the stock funds in Dad's IRA?
I'm going to tell you right now. So if it's 2/3, 1/3, I probably would flip that. I would probably make it stocks 1/3 and bonds, cash 2/3. And where is that inherited IRA held?
Fidelity.
You're managing it, right?
Yes.
Okay. So the stock funds are like just a plain old index fund? What do you have?
There's an index fund. There's the Fidelity Balanced Fund. I mean, a little bit of contra fund.
All right. Well, whatever. Keep whatever stock fund you want. I mean, I'm always happy with an index fund, but I would be much more inclined to flip that around, low risk, And do not touch that money in the money market CDs, I bonds. Like, in fact, in your Fidelity account, if you wanted to, what are you getting paid on your money market inside Fidelity these days?
Well, no, I took that out of Fidelity. That's actually at Marcus at about 3.3%.
Perfect.
And the CDs are within the Fidelity umbrella, but at 4.5% at some major banks.
You could totally do that. By the way, you could build a little IRA. You could keep like maybe just 20% in stocks and build the rest as like a CD ladder to mature at various times in the future, right? Because we know that in 30, well, we know what we need this year, right? For the 2.5 years, we know what we need. You can build your bond ladder in this IRA account, and it'll probably be done by the time the 30 months is up, right? I mean, I think it'd be close. I would keep a teeny bit in stocks just in case, like a little inflation, kind of like keeping pace with inflation. But you could just kind of build a bond, a CD ladder, and have the money mature when you know you're going to need it, in advance of the year. You say, okay, I need, 30 grand this year. I need 30 grand next year. And then you're done. In 3 years, it's done, right? And don't, again, if you have to dribble it out a little bit more, that's fine with me. But because, obviously I want to stay in the 12% tax bracket. But other than that, I wouldn't do anything else. This is a very boring portfolio that you need to manage to just pay bills. We'll get back to IRA in just a minute. This is the Jill on Money Show. If you have a question, go to jillonmoney.com. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to Jill on Money, where Jill Schlesinger takes the mystery out of your finances.
You're back. It's Jill on Money. This is the program that is trying to help you make smarter financial decisions, the best decisions for you and your family, not for anyone else, just you. Before we went to the break, we were talking to Ira, and he was helping out his mom. If you want to help out someone in your family, just go to jillonmoney.com, click the Contact Us button, and we would be delighted to guide you through whatever decision-making process you're in. So right now, let's get back to Ira.
We also have another $200,000 that was Dad's life insurance proceeds. And years ago, Dad was smart enough to put that in the name of the beneficiary is myself and one of my siblings, so it's not in Mom's name, so that if at some point Mom does have to go on Medicaid to pay for a nursing home, we could supplement that for a better room or something like that.
That's great. But if your mother were to live like 10 more years, you're probably going to end up plowing through all her money. There's nothing else to do about it. Like, you pay for it, right?
Right. Her facility does have a set aside of certain, in New Jersey, they have to set aside a certain percentage of rooms for Medicaid residents. So she could probably stay in the facility.
What about you and your life? If for some reason, okay, here's another question. What happens if she needs more care? What if she just isn't okay in assisted living? If she had to step up care, what if you had to get another set of hands in there to help out, that she needs some sort of more significant care than the assisted living facility could manage? What would happen then?
Well, we'd probably have to transfer her to a nursing home.
That would obviously cost more money. Or maybe not. Close, though.
I assume it's around the same, plus maybe 10-20%. One of my siblings and myself could help supplement that if we have to. Now,
okay.
My wife and I, my wife is retired. I'm still working. We're both 65. I have a base salary of about $350, and my bonuses during the year average about $200.
Look at you, big shot. You're making $500,000 a year. You're almost rich except that you live in a high cost area.
We do live in a high cost area with a very high property tax bill, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Probably work another couple of years. I mean, I have a fairly low stress job and I like what I'm doing. I guess my personal question is, I have a small mortgage balance left, $120,000, but the mortgage is at 2.25%. I mean, I look at, let's say, the money in a money market fund at 3.3, but 3.3 after tax comes down to about the same as the 2.25.
Yeah.
You know, so should I just take?
No. How about that?
Okay.
Was that clear enough for you?
Yeah.
No. Let me do that slowly. No. How much money do you have liquid? I mean, unless you tell me you have $10 million, but what do you have? What's in your non-retirement assets? How much money?
My non-retirement assets, I would say, are about $850,000.
And your retirement assets are how much?
My retirement assets are about 1.7.
Okay. And does your wife have a pension that she's entitled to?
No. The 1.7 is some of her IRA plus my IRA and 401k.
Okay. No, do not pay off the mortgage. First of all, even if you true, money market is paying 3.3. You could get a 1-year CD and they'll pay you 4. But beyond that,
even 4 after tax is probably pretty close to the 2.25.
True, but the reality is, what if you need your access to your money? Once you pay that off, that money's gone. You have lost the opportunity to actually have access to that money. And all for what? Because you emotionally don't want to have a mortgage anymore. I know you don't. I get it. Nobody wants to have a mortgage, but having access to your money is much more important. And now, at least, instead of me fighting with you and saying, it's okay to lose money every year based on inflation and based on taxes, now you're actually breaking even. So breaking even to have access to your money is far, far more important than whatever peace of mind you think you will actually get from having the mortgage paid down. And you actually may have real expenses for your mother. So no, I don't want you to pay that down. You're going to do it anyway. I hear it in you. You're about to fight me on this. So I'm going to tell you something. You're going to do what you want to do. It's not a good decision.
Even though I still have an unused $200,000 equity line.
Totally. Who cares? That is no, absolutely not. Are you going to sell this house?
We don't envision moving anytime soon. We have children in the area, and like somebody once said to me, so if your property bill is $20,000 a year, is it worth that? Is it worth saving that to not be near your kids and their potentially grandkids?
This is nonsense. Listen to Aunt Jill. I'm really like your kid, okay, by the way. I'm like your younger, smart-ass sister. Do not pay off the mortgage. I know you want to. Please don't. Just don't. I gave you another shot. How about we get another look after you retire? And by the way, don't retire so quickly. If you're I think I like my job and things are pretty good and you know what? Making $500,000 a year is very helpful. Go make me another $120,000 and pay off your stupid mortgage. But I need a few more years from you.
Okay.
All right.
I appreciate it. Thank you very much for your time.
If you have a financial question, just go to JillOnMoney.com, click the Contact Us button. While you're there, check out my new book. It's called The Great Money Reset. We have links to all your favorite booksellers. We'll be right back. You're back. It's Jill on Money. And before we finish up this hour, let's answer an email from Vera. By the way, if you want to send us an email, that's fine. Again, it's just going to JillOnMoney.com, click the Contact Us button, and tell us what's going on. So here is what Vera writes. I borrowed about $45,000 from my 401k to purchase my house 2 years ago. It can be paid off in 20 years with a 6.5% interest rate. It's coming directly out of my paycheck. I think she means her payments are coming from her paycheck. That's how 401k loans usually work. Okay, so Vera says, I have about $479,000 in a balance on my mortgage, and the rate is 2.75%. If I have a lump sum of $45,000, should I put it towards getting rid of my 401k loan balance, or should it pay down the principal on my mortgage? Oh, Vera, this is such an easy one. Thanks. You made my life so good because I was worried this was going to be a thornier question. Obviously, when we have two different kinds of loans, the easiest thing to do is compare the interest rates. So in your case, 6.5% interest rate, 6.5%, that's a lot. And I know you sort of feel like, oh, well, I'm paying myself back interest, but the money that you've borrowed, that $45,000, is not invested right now. It's collateral. So I think you should take the $45,000 and pay down your 401k loan balance. Do not pay down the mortgage. There is one thing that I do want to mention. If that $45,000 represents your emergency reserve fund, then I don't think you should pay it all off. You don't leave yourself with $0 in cash on hand. Remember, we always want to make sure we have an emergency reserve fund, a safety net of 6 to 12 months of our living expenses. So if that $45,000 is sitting there as your emergency reserve fund, then do not use it at all. But if it's in excess of what you need, sure, go ahead, pay off that 401k loan. You're listening to Jill on Money, and we'll be back with a whole nother hour of fun.
It's the weekend, and that can only mean one thing. You're listening to Jill on Money, the show that takes the mystery out of your finances. Here's your host, Jill Schlesinger.
You're back. It's hour number 2 of the Jill on Money show, and we are answering your financial questions. If you have one, all you need to do is go to our website. It's jillonmoney.com. You know that because I'm sure you've bookmarked it. And just click the Contact Us button. When you complete the form at the bottom, it says, would you like to come on the air live? And if you say yes, Mark will do everything else. It's just that easy. So right now, let's talk to Edie, who's on the line from Texas. Hi, Edie. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
We're doing great. What's going on?
Well, I just have to say this is a dream because I listen to y'all every single day.
Let me just say, it doesn't get boring to hear that. So you can say that as much as you want, that it's a dream. But I hope that we live up to your expectations. That's really the number one thing. So tell us, what brings you to us?
Since I'm 51, I kind of wanted to have a midlife check to make sure I'm doing things right. And that if I, maybe you can suggest something that I readjust if I need to. So that
you're very ambitious. I just want to say midlife. You think you're living to 102?
I was just going to say that.
Let's call it a 5/8 instead of midlife. Okay, let's see. What's going on? You're 51. Are you single? Are you married? What's going on?
Married with 2 kids.
How old are the kids?
20 and 18. So one's in college and one's a senior in high school.
Wow. And is the senior in high school going to college?
Yes.
Okay. And the 20-year-old in college, state school or private school?
Well, out of state school.
Ugh. You've got a great system in Texas.
It's so hard to get in to the state school.
All right. How old is your spouse?
He is 51 also.
Okay. Are you both working full-time?
Both work full-time.
How much do you earn?
I earn a little over 200, and I have a side hustle where I earn about 50.
Wow. That's fun. I love that. And what about your husband?
About 70.
Are you both contributing to retirement accounts?
Yes, I do more. I do 15%, and then I have a 6% match, and he does about 10,000 a year.
Are you both using the pre-tax or are you using Roth versions of retirement accounts?
Well, he has a SEP, and then I just started a Roth because I started a new position in June.
Okay, so Edie, you're using a Roth contribution now. How much is in your pre-tax retirement account?
$2,024,000.
Whoa, ho, ho, ho. That's awesome. Okay. I'm liking that. And so then the Roth has some smaller amount, obviously, right?
I have a Roth from before. I really kind of don't know. It's a Roth IRA, I guess. It has 370.
Say that one more time. How much in the Roth IRA?
370.
That's a nice pot of money to kind of forget about.
Yeah, I'll say. And what about in your husband's SEP? How much is in there?
I think he has about 190.
And what about other assets? A brokerage account or any other old retirement or brokerage accounts floating around that you can think of?
The other retirement is about 53,000. I have a taxable account with 89,000, and then another one with 760,000.
Holy crap, girl. You're rocking it. Those brokerage accounts, are you managing them yourself?
No. Well, my husband's actually a financial advisor.
Oh, wait a second. Wait a second. You're cheating on your husband right now by contacting us?
Yes.
This is a first.
We just got that financial infidelity report out. Let me just pull that up so I can tell everybody about that. As always, every year, there's some insane number of people, 39% of people who admit to committing financial infidelity against their spouse or partner. However, I'm not sure this is financial infidelity. It may just be, I don't know, like maybe it's it's not like infidelity, but it is like, I just want someone else to make sure everything's going okay, right? So what's the right term for that, Mark?
I don't know. She's looking for some sort of like confirmation bias.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see if you're okay. But wait a second. So your husband, he's managing the money.
Well, he manages I have one brokerage account with the 760. He manages that.
How does he manage the account? Like what's in that $760,000 brokerage account? What's in there? Mutual funds, stocks, what?
Mostly mutual funds. Well, half of it I've kind of directed. So I have like a ton of Netflix, Apple.
Oh, so this is like, there's like a weird amount of like there's some fun money stuff going on in there. They're just like, you know what I mean? Like this is not your real serious money in some respects because you have other stuff in there. Is that the right way to think about it or not?
Yes, that's exactly correct.
Okay. What about in the retirement, like all that money, that $2.5 million that's in retirement, in your 401k, in your Roth, in your IRAs, how do you manage that? Is that a little bit more conservative with like index funds? What are you doing?
Yes.
And what about for college? You just paying it out of the brokerage account or are you relying on a 529 plan? How did you save for college?
We have 529s and we're so fortunate. The grandparents basically funded those.
Oh my God. The rich grandparent is the best. So we really don't have to worry about that, whether your kid goes in state or out of state, right?
Right.
Okay. How about your house? How much is that worth?
About $1.2 million. We owe, $680 maybe.
What's the interest rate on that mortgage?
We refinanced right before it went up, so it's 3.1.
All right. What on earth could you possibly need from us? Do you spend a ton of money or what's going on with you?
Yes. We spend like $18,000 a month.
Did you say 18?
Yes.
Did you say that sheepishly? Like, yes. Wait a second.
One more thing. We invested about $475 in real estate syndications.
So 475 in that. Wow. What's the income on that?
We just started in the late 2021 with that. Last year we made $40,000.
Whose idea was this?
Mine.
This is like that's a very esoteric kind of investment to make. How did that come to you? How did you learn about that?
Well, I really wanted to do like a triple net lease, and this was sort of a safer way to do it, I felt like.
It's in there anyway, and you did it as cash, right? There's no note against that, right?
Right, that's correct.
So that's a nice chunk of money. So right now, you make $200 in your income, then a side hustle of $50, and so your husband and you're making $320-ish. You pay your taxes. You live in Texas, so no state income tax. You make your retirement contributions. How's your cash flow? I mean, are you able to cover 18 grand a month easily, or is it wow, that's hard?
I think it's a little tighter because our house note is $3,000 a month, and then the property taxes are really expensive here, so it's $2,000. So that's $5,000 just to even live in our house.
You make your retirement contributions. You have everything rocking and rolling. It's tight, but are you dipping into your savings at all?
No, but right now I think I'm worried because I have a severance for the last year and a half, I guess, and that's about to go away, and it's $8,000 a month.
Oh, so that's an old severance. Okay. And then you will have to dip into the brokerage, I presume, right?
I feel like I will, and I don't want to do that at all.
We'll get back to Edie in just a second. If you want a bit of a financial checkup, give us a holler. JillOnMoney.com. That's the website. Click the Contact Us button, and we'd be happy to help you out. Easy, right? We'll be right back.
Back to Jill on Money, where Jill Schlesinger helps you take the mystery out of your finances.
You're back. It's Jill on Money. And before we went to a break, we were on the line with Edie from Texas. So let's get back to her and find out what's going on. How do you cut down on this 18? As you said, if it's $5,000 a month for the house itself, right? And then let's say another $3,000 in stuff like that's, I don't know, utilities and, eating a little bit and whatever. And so let's just say that 8 is completely not negotiable. Let's even say 9 is not negotiable. The other 9 is living. Do you feel like there's something you're doing that is extravagant or not?
I mean, honestly, no.
Okay. What about your future? What is it that you think you guys are on a path to do? Work for 10 or 15 more years, or what's your hope?
Well, I would hope so.
So you're willing to work. It's not like you're not going to work.
Right.
Stay in the house or not stay in the house?
Yeah, because we just built it.
How do you get out of this syndication deal? I mean, what's the liquidation mechanism of it, right? You invest $475, you're getting this $40,000 of income's nice. So that's a real yield. But how does it actually get retired, or what happens to that?
They usually do retire after about 5 years. They'll sell the property.
Okay. And then what does that mean? Does that mean you get a capital gains after that 5 years?
I don't know the answer to that.
Yeah, I would be interested. You work with a CPA or a tax preparer?
Yes.
I'd be interested to understand, obviously $40,000 of income is plain old income, but I just wonder, the tax reporting on this would be interesting, and it would be nice to know what would happen if, are they going to just hand you your $475 back and the income is the income and that's that, which is fine. That's like buying a 5-year bond that's yielding a lot, right? So I think that if you guys, even if you did need to dip in a little bit, maybe there's an idea here. What would happen if we didn't save as much in retirement? In other words, you have a lot of money in retirement. What would happen if we cut back a tiny bit just so that you could meet your cash flow more readily? Would that screw them up, Mark, for the future? And also, do you think it's $18,000 a month forever? Or do we think when the kids leave, it's going to go down a little bit? And then, there'll be almost tranches of how your expenses go down. But is that fair to say, or should we just count on $18,000 a month?
No, I definitely think it'll go down. Just, kids going out to dinner and...
How much money is in your emergency reserve? Just your liquid cash on hand. What do you have?
223, and I think I have too much.
Okay, that's okay, because you're going to need that. Because when does the severance end?
I think it's April or May.
Okay, so it's coming up. The severance is gone. So definitely do not do anything with that savings because you might need to dip into it. But here's the question. what do you think, Mark, we should really count on for future expenses? Like if I'm looking 10 years from now, what do I think about for the real number, the need? I'm trying to work backwards because, 18 grand a month is a big number, right? But if you don't need that, could it be 180 grand a year? Not, I don't know. What's the right number to use?
I feel like 14.
So that's 170. So let's say 180. Let's say 180 grand a year. What is your Social Security, and do either of you have a pension possibility?
So I had a pension, but I cashed it out.
Okay.
Left my other company.
What about your Social Security benefit? Like, what's it look like at your full retirement age?
I think 4,400.
And for him?
Maybe 3,600.
So what we need you guys to do is essentially between now and your full retirement age, we need you to kind of keep the boat afloat, meaning that what I hope happens is as your expenses go down a little bit, you may need to dip into your savings, at least in the near term. You really need to watch these expenses for real. Ideally, let's say that it's, we're at age 67, you've got $8 grand a month coming in from Social Security. You'll hopefully have this 475 back from the syndication deal. You'll have a lot of assets. Mark, do you think that they can make it on that? Like, what's your opinion?
I think they can. If they can somehow avoid touching all of this money that they've accumulated, in the early 60s by about 62, so 11 years from now, what they have right now is going to be worth probably around $5 million.
Right. And we need them to get to 6 to pull out the 180 a year about, right?
I think they can do it, but I just don't think they can continue to save what they're saving right now.
Yeah, I think that the problem that you had that I see is that the way that you've set this up, just in terms of your lifestyle, which I'm not telling you not to do it, it just kind of consigns you to working pretty hard. You don't get this like, oh, I'm going to have a glide path off to make it easier. If you want to maintain your lifestyle, you guys really have to work right to your full retirement age. Or you don't have to. If you pull back, if you're like, you know what? Screw it. The house was great. We loved it, but we're out of it. Our kid moved out of state and, lives in Oklahoma now. We're going to go move with the kid. Like, there are a lot of things that can happen between now and then. The spending part, because the spend is at this 18 grand a month, it does really put you on track to really keep working. And maybe what I would be careful about is if you find yourself plowing through that savings that you have, that 223 grand of savings, what you need to talk to your husband about is that you might need to actually take some money out of that brokerage account today, maybe free up some cash, because you don't want to find yourself short at the wrong time. So I think that probably what you should be considering is pulling back a little. I mean, I would see how it goes while you have the severance, when the severance goes away. And then I think you should try to maybe pull back on your retirement. Are you making a catch-up contribution right now also?
It's hard to tell if I get there with my 15%. I mean, I think so.
I'd prefer you not put the money. I mean, you have a lot of money saved in retirement already. And I'd prefer you not overfund retirement at this point at the expense of blowing through all your brokerage account. So I think it's better if you pull back a little bit, have some more money in cash. Let's see how the end of severance goes, that period of time. And then we're going to have to really, I think you're going to have to really take a hard look at, what is it that we're spending money on? Is there something here that is, if out of the 18, 12 is like hardcore, we cannot change that. Maybe there's some, like a few $1,000s in there every month that you can change. I don't know. Does your husband have a sense that, does he come and pound the table and say, my God, we are spending too much money? Or is that you? Do you do that?
Oh, absolutely me. He does not care.
That's funny because normally I would say what happens is that the person who's the advisor is the one who does that.
No.
All right. Tell us a little bit more about some basic stuff. Do you have your estate planning done?
Yes.
Okay. Life insurance, do you have some still?
Yes. of that.
How much do you have?
I don't have as much. My husband has like 2 million. I think, because when I switched jobs, it kind of was weird. I think I have 570.
It's weird. Like you are the one who is like the big wage earner. So what's funny about that is I would think you should have more. He's screwed if you die, God forbid. I think you probably might need a little more coverage for right now. Can you see if you can buy it through your employer? Thank you for calling, Edie. We hope that you take a good hard look at those numbers on the spend. And listen, you've done an amazing job of accumulating assets. That's what I can say. Really phenomenal. So that's the good news. And what I think is important is that we just don't let things blow up out of control, okay?
Yes.
If you, like Edie, need a bit of a reality check on what's going on in your financial life, just go to our website, jillonmoney.com, and you can click the Contact Us button. While you're there, check out our new subscription service. It's called Jill on Money Live. You'll have access to quarterly webinars. We'll be right back.
.401ks, IRAs, refinancing, she covers it all. Back to Jill on Money with Jill Schlesinger.
You're back. It's Jill on Money, and we are answering your financial questions. I know we love to have you on live, but if you are shy and you want to send an email, we make room for that. Just go to jillonmoney.com. Click the Contact Us button and write your email and we'll get to it. That's what we're doing right now. Let's answer an email from Maureen. She says, I understand your basic position on immediate annuities. And she goes on to write, I'm 77. I'm single. She retired 3 years ago. Only 3 years ago. How about that? She's got a really nice portfolio. And she says, plus Social Security and required minimum distributions, no pension. She says, I am considering buying a single premium immediate annuity with 15% of my balance to answer the fear of outliving my money issues that may be irrational or rational, but do surface for me. Okay. You're single. I don't know if you have children or not. That's one question, because sometimes when you have this immediate annuity, let's say you put $100,000 in there and you die the next day, poof, that money's gone. So I don't love that, but maybe you don't care. I also discovered, due to the new Secure Act, qualified longevity annuity contracts can take $200,000 one time, maybe a good compromise for my qualified IRA funds instead of a single premium immediate annuity, which taxes the entire payment earlier. I'm not convinced you need this. Ideally, I'd like to understand how much money is in retirement money versus non-retirement money. Is it possible that whole fear of running out of money, even if it is rational, that even if you did some 15% of your balance, that wouldn't necessarily even help answer the question? I could be convinced to put some money in an immediate annuity. I don't think I would do it with your retirement money, but I sure would like to know a lot more about what's going on in your life to see if we can make you feel better about this decision. Okay? Okay, Mark, here is a long message from Anne Marie. You ready? Hello, Jill and Mark. I've contacted you previously. I'm uncertain if I should keep $345,000 in Oppenheimer that has a $59,000 loss at the moment. Do I keep it there at Oppenheimer? Do I move it to TD Ameritrade and now Schwab, where I have my Roth and my traditional IRA and $50,000 in ETFs, managed by myself, and must say not doing too bad, but don't want to manage the larger amount? She's 56, 57 in June, owns my own home, small farm, no income, single, divorced, income $45,000. alimony of $18,000 a year, monthly expenses of $4,500, including taxes, insurance, and business expenses, owns her own business. She's got $150,000 in a variable IRA annuity, $20,000 in I bonds, $21,000 in savings, long-term health insurance. $250 a month. That is actually a very good deal. I don't know what you have in that. All documents are in place. Possible inheritance in the future of $500,000. I think you should do it yourself. If you're really skittish, maybe move it into, you said you have Schwab. Schwab does have a advice component called, I think it's still called Schwab Intelligent Portfolio. And I would do it there. I don't see how, it's not the loss that makes me, it doesn't, like, the fact that you have a loss, big deal. Like, a lot of people have losses right now. That's not the reason why. It seems to me the reason why is that you don't feel like you're getting advice. And if that's the case, why pay to have an account that is at Oppenheimer? For a lot of people, having a year with losses is a prompt to reconsider your investment advice and your relationships. But just because you have a loss doesn't mean you should move. But it is a good reason to say, like, well, what exactly am I paying for? Right? I don't know. Like, I would probably move it to Schwab. And then I would also be thinking about if you think you're going to get that inheritance, or once you get that inheritance, maybe you start looking for a fee only or a fee based fiduciary financial advisor. Okay. Mark has a logistical question. I'm sorry that Jill struggled in 22 with health issues and loss amongst her circle of family and friends. Isn't that nice? I didn't struggle personally, but I did have loss. Ugh. I hope that 23 brings brighter outcomes for you both. Mark, I would take a bad back rather than the last 4 months of last year any day. What do you think?
100%, yes.
Thank you very much. It's actually what I thought about this morning. Mark hasn't written in a long time. He says, I continue to listen. I listen to Jill on Money and the news show, Eye on Money, soon to have a name change, maybe, if they ever get back to us at CBS. I enjoy the perspective, expertise, humor, and empathy, which you bring every day. Thank you. Small logistical question, which falls into the category of doesn't really matter. I have been converting an old employer's 401k's pre-tax contributions to Roth since 2019. With that now complete, I want to move the account proceeds to Vanguard to consolidate with my Roth IRA. The old employer plan is at Fidelity, and the choices are fine, but I want to consolidate for simplicity. I like that. Should I just reallocate the 401k plan to cash before starting the rollover process? My wife performed a rollover years ago, and the receiving institution was confounded that we could not give a precise dollar amount for the incoming rollover because it was invested in the market. It doesn't matter because it goes to cash automatically. So if you want to, you could, but I always like to stay invested, and the money will roll over in cash. That's how rollover proceeds. I don't know why your wife's rollover that's weird to me, unless she was rolling over to an advisor who wanted to know how much money they were getting in.
Even then, it's usually just ballpark.
I would say does not matter. Do not worry. Chill out. If you have a financial question, don't sit with it. Let me and Mark help you out. We're certified financial planners, for goodness sake. So let us take that burden off of you. Just go to JillOnMoney.com, click the Contact Us button, and of course, let us know if you want to come on the air. Otherwise, we'll do our best to answer your email. While you're on the website, check out the blog section. Lots of good stuff there, and the resources too. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to Jill on Money, where Jill Schlesinger takes the mystery out of your finances.
You're back. It's Jill on Money. If you've got financial questions, we have the answers for you. All you need to do is go to our website. It's jillonmoney.com. Click the Contact Us button and just easy peasy. Write down all your details. We like emails. We love having you live also, but we do like emails as well. Right now, let's answer a question from Dylan, who writes, "Good evening, Jill and Mark. My wife and I are in the process of purchasing land from a family member and building a home. We are pre-approved through a few banks, and we are wondering what is the best option. We're purchasing the land for $30,000, but it should appraise for about $60,000. We are hoping to use that equity to put less down on the loan." Okay, that sounds good. "We are planning on spending around $300,000 all in for the construction and land combined. One bank does a one-time closing, and we're pre-approved at a 6.75% interest rate. But whenever we close on the loan, we have to pay our full mortgage payment of principal and interest, even though we wouldn't have a house yet." Oh, interesting. So it's basically like you've got the whole loan for the house that's yet to be built, but they give you all the money up front, don't they, to build the house? So that seems like that would be okay. The other bank does a one-time closing, pre-approved at 6%, but they do interest-only financing for the first 18 months, regardless of how long it takes to build the house. After 18 months, principal and interest payments begin. I like the idea of smaller payments while we're building, but 18 months of interest seems like a long time to not be paying down any principal. Oh, and for more information, oh my God, Mark, listen to this. They're 28 years old. They've got $80,000 in cash, $50,000 in a non-qualified brokerage account, $63,000 in a Roth IRA, $109,000 in retirement, and they make about $6,000 a month net. They spend $4,000. So they could swing having an extra mortgage instead of the interest-only payments, but it seems crazy to pay a full payment without a house. Also, we shouldn't have to put much actual cash down due to buying the land at a discount from the family, so we already have equity. I was going to ask if we should pay the mortgage down faster once we finish building, since the rates on the proposed loans are 6 and 6.5%. Mark, wow. I don't like this interest only, but on the other hand, I agree. I don't like paying for this full freight while we're building this house. There's a part of me that's like, where are you living now? Okay, so let me ask you some other questions. So this is something that I would want to know. Like, you're building this right now, Dylan. Where are you living right now? When is this all starting? Is it worth it? Here's another wacky question. Is it worth it to buy the land from the family member and hold off on building the home? What if you just bought the land in cash and you hold off on building until you get rates down a little bit? What do you think about that as an idea? I mean, I don't know. Maybe this is crazy because they're already like, oh my God, we're doing it. In the 18 months that they have this loan, I just get the sense that they might have to do better. That's the problem. I sort of feel like I like the lower payments while they're building and then see what happens. And you can always accelerate it or refinance. I don't know. I want to hold on to my cash a little bit. So I know he can swing the full payment. I don't care about not paying principal and interest. You pay all interest anyway in the beginning of a loan anyway, right? So I think I like the smaller payments while you're building. That's what I'm thinking. Mark, look who this is. This is great. This is Rachel and Monica. Remember, these are their pseudonyms. She was hoping to sell, her mom was hoping to sell dad's old business, and it wasn't really happening. She had a valuation done. It was out there for a while, no progress. She's sick and tired of it. She's ready to walk away. And then guess what? She got an offer. $50,000 a year for 7 years. Can you imagine, Mark? She thought it was zero, and now she's $50,000 for 7 years. Okay. We're thinking, since she's retiring with the market way down, she uses this money to live on and doesn't touch her retirement accounts for the next several years. Is this her best bet? So mom is 65. Dad passed away 10 years ago. She's in a paid-for house. She needs $5,000 a month to live on. She's been taking Social Security of her own, $1,000 a month. In 2025, she will start with the survivor benefit of dad's $3,000 a month. She's got $280,000 in a Vanguard traditional IRA, inherited Vanguard account, $60,000, an annuity that is $530,000. She only has $2,000 in savings. She's hoping to close the sale of my dad's old business for about $50,000 a year. So here's the deal. Yeah, you stop everything and just use this money to live on. Absolutely. Don't you agree with that? I mean, she needs $5,000 a month. She's going to have almost that. She'll have $4,000 plus $1,000 in Social Security. She's done. I would live on this. You should make sure you see an accountant about this, by the way. How is that $50,000 going to be taxed? It's not going to be income. It should be a capital gain on the business, right? In which case, I'm hoping, this is so interesting. I don't know what the cost basis of the business is, but man, it would be great if she could pay a 15% capital gains tax on that. And that's that.
Mom is 65. Why isn't she eligible for Social Security survivor benefits now? Why does she have to wait until 2025?
I don't know. It says that is true. You're right.
It's not like her current amount is more than the survivor amount will be.
Yeah, I don't know. Let's check on that. Double check on that. Okay. If you've got a financial question, if you've got a concern, maybe it's your taxes, maybe it's retirement, maybe it's college funding, whatever is on your mind, we'd love to help you out. JillOnMoney.com, hit the Contact Us button, let us know what's on your mind. We can probably figure it out with you, okay? Jill on Money, we'll be right back. You're back. It's Jill on Money. And before we finish the program today, let's get to an email from Kathleen. She writes, I'm considering changing my IRA into a fixed annuity for the remainder of my life. I'm 69 years old, and the IRA is currently worth $366,000. Right now, I have $72,000 per year in retirement and Social Security. I owe $80,000 on my primary residence. I also have a paid-for townhouse in South Carolina. And I own vacation property worth $375,000. There's still a $110,000 mortgage that's outstanding. I own one rental residence that's worth $200,000, and there's a $45,000 mortgage on that. The rent for this pays the mortgage on the property and the vacation home mortgage. Do you feel that a fixed annuity is a good product? Well, heck, Kathleen, you got a lot of money, and without even going into whether this fixed annuity is a good product or not, let's be clear. You have a lot of assets that are illiquid, meaning you've got real estate. My concern is not whether fixed annuities are good or bad, but that right now, that IRA represents liquidity to you. It's money that you can get out and get your hands on very quickly. I don't think it would be an ideal situation for you to soak up all of the liquidity in your IRA account into that annuity. So I'm going to say, based on the information you provided, I don't think this is the best idea for you, unless I'm missing something else, unless there's a boatload of assets somewhere else. Okay, that is it. That is the program. Thank you so much for listening. Our music is composed by Joel Goodman. Karen Kranick is our web queen. Mark Talercio is our executive producer. We encourage you to do something nice for someone else today. It's going to make that person feel good, and it's going to make you feel good. Change your work, change your wealth, change your life. Thanks for listening. We'll talk to you next week.